Is it true that in the upcoming Despicable Me movies, Gru and Lucy will have even more kids? Recently, some script information from the upcoming Illumination movies supposedly leaked, and new details involving the future of the Gru family and Illumination have revealed some amazing things. And today, we're going to tell you everything we've discovered. Large family. First off, we have to be honest and say that Gru's family is indeed larger than most, as nowadays, in the majority of cases, many couples opt to have between 1 and 2 children, and sometimes even none. But Gru and Lucy are parents to 4 kids, which is practically double or even 4 times more than we're used to seeing. This shows that Illumination had the idea from the start that Gru's family would be larger than normal, which proved to be true after Lucy and Gru Jr. joined the family. And as Gru Jr. is the first baby in the family since when Gru adopted the girls they were older, with Agnes being the youngest of all, there's a great chance that Gru Jr. is the first of a new wave of children for the Gru family. There's even a theory about why none of the 3 girls has grown much at all. And we'll talk about this more in our video later on, because now we're moving on to the exciting possibility of Gru and Lucy's new adoptive daughter. Gru and Lucy are a very welcoming couple who love to have a full house. It's obvious. Actually, Gru has always been this way, since he had no less than 899 minions working for him in his house since he was young. And now, as we've mentioned, the couple's family is bigger than we're accustomed to, and it might grow even bigger in the next movie, and we have evidence to prove that this is possible. One of the main new characters in the movie will be Poppy. According to information supposedly obtained from inside Illumination, Poppy is a teenager who is a huge fan of Gru and wants to be a supervillain just like Gru once was. We can see that she adopts the same pattern as Gru, with her initials on her clothes and accessories like the belt she wears. Just like Gru, who had his initial, the letter G, distributed across many of his items like his ship and even Gru Jr.'s belt. But an interesting thing is that we know very little or almost nothing about Poppy's past, at least for now. That's where our theory comes in, making perfect sense, saying that Gru will meet Poppy when his family moves to the city of Mayflower. However, it's very likely that this city is just a facade created by the Anti-Villain League as a sort of massive witness protection program. The city would be a place where only people hiding from villains live, hence Gru and his family would be taken there and start living an apparently normal life. And there, Poppy will meet Gru's family. We can tell from the famous scene of the girl dancing with her super cute kitten that she lives in an apartment, probably in the same building as Gru and his family. This could very well mean she's there to be protected, likely without her parents, because let's face it, most parents wouldn't let their child dance steps practically in the kitchen, like Poppy does. So either Poppy's parents are gone, which would make Poppy an orphan, just like the girls, or they're missing and she wouldn't have any relatives who can take care of her. In either case, Poppy would be seeking emotional support, which could come from Gru and Lucy themselves, who could very well adopt Poppy by the end of the movie, making her the 7th member of the family, not to mention Kyle, of course. So, Gru and Lucy would have not just 4 children anymore, but 5. And Poppy would become the older sister, maybe even helping Margot, who always had the responsibility of taking care of Edith and Agnes since she's always been the most responsible of the 3. By the way, I don't know about you, but I loved Poppy, and I think she's going to be a great character in Despicable Me 4. If you think so too, comment down below, #Poppy. But the truth is, besides Poppy, there's a huge chance that in the next movies of the franchise, because yes, we'll have more movies of both the Minions and Gru, other characters will appear. More babies in the Gru family. According to a site that supposedly leaked information about the intentions of the upcoming Despicable Me and Minions movies, the idea is for Gru Jr. to become an older brother. And of course, he won't be the older brother of Agnes, Edith, or Margot, since he's a few years younger than all of them. So that suggests that at least one more baby could appear, or be on the way. But it might not be Gru's. And hold on, nobody's saying anything wrong about Lucy. Let's explain it better. If you've watched all the trailers and teasers of the next movie, you definitely noticed the absence of a major character, Drew, Gru's twin brother. And this disappearance could mean 2 things. Either Gru really captured Drew along with his minion henchmen, who accompanied him in the escape at the end of the 3rd movie, or Drew returned to his homeland and maybe fully embraced his life as a supervillain. And many people hope he might show up unexpectedly at the end of the 4th Despicable Me movie. More than that, he might show up holding a little baby in his arms, his son, Gru Jr. But he can't raise the child because of his life as a supervillain, and also because he would be arrested by the Anti-Villain League and the child would have no one to care for him. At that moment, he would ask Gru to take care of his son, to raise the baby as his own, and then Gru Jr. would be able to hang out with a little cousin who is very similar to him, practically the same age. He would even have the opportunity to go through what Gru and Drew could have gone through if their parents hadn't separated them from each other. If this really happens, Gru would have 3 more children: Gru Jr., Poppy, and Drew Jr. With one detail: Drew Jr., unlike Gru's own son, would love to stay with our favorite villain, since it's clear that every time Gru Jr. is with Daddy, he's not very happy. But now, let's talk about something that has caught the attention of many fans: girls' growth. This is a tiny detail related to Gru's other daughters, and it's connected to everything we've discussed so far. Because if all of this happens, Gru and Lucy would end up not just with 3 daughters, but with 6 children and teenagers at home. Now that's a big family. And in that case, everyone's responsibilities would change drastically. Margot would no longer be the oldest, while Agnes would no longer be the youngest. Amidst all this, have you ever noticed that Gru's first 3 daughters never grow up? If you recall, in Despicable Me 3, Gru tells Drew that Margot is 12 and will always be 12. Even though it might seem like just a protective father's remark, it seems like Gru was actually trying to convey a message from Illumination to the fans, that it's better for them to stay little. And that seems to be true, because it looks like the girls haven't grown an inch since the first movie. Well, except for one small change: Margot. That's because in each movie, the image on her shirt changes to a new character, and this time, it will be the first time it won't be a well-known character, just a normal human head. But concerning the girl's growth, there's a big detail amidst all this. Time passes normally in the movies, and we can prove it to you. For instance, after defeating El Macho, 147 days passed until Gru and Lucy's wedding, as shown in the movie itself. That's almost 5 months, nearly half a year. Moreover, in Despicable Me 4, there's a time jump because we see Gru Jr. already a few months old. It's evident he's not a newborn since he crawls and moves around quite easily. So, we can say he must be at least 6 months old. Adding Lucy's 9 months of pregnancy, that's roughly 15 months of a gap in Gru's and his family's reality, which is over a year. If we add the 5 months between defeating El Macho and Lucy and Gru's wedding, that's 20 months, nearly 2 years. In other words, almost 2 years have passed since the first movie, yet Margot, Edith, and Agnes haven't grown at all. Which makes us wonder, how long will Illumination keep this up? It's obvious sooner or later the film production company will have to make older versions of the characters, including Gru Jr. and Drew's son if he really shows up in the upcoming movies. And honestly, I'd love to see the older version of all the kids. After all, if I've gotten older since the first movie, it would be cool to see the characters grow too, don't you think? Folks, that's all we know about the possibilities of Gru and Lucy becoming parents to 6 children, including both kids and teenagers. I don't know about you, but I'm counting down the hours until I can watch Despicable Me 4. And when I get anxious, I watch some videos here on the channel to relax, like these 2 that are popping up for you. And the one on the left is just really good. I highly recommend it. Thanks, and until next time.